What do a person's clothes say about them?
Nothing.
They don't really tell much about the person, it's just their fashion sense.
Maybe how they're feeling at the time.
How they want to present themselves.
It tells you kind of like what cliques they're in, like preppy, jock, like creative.
So your character yourself, it makes you like more of a person.
Because I like looking nice. I just like to be stylish sometimes.
I know it's how I like to express myself.
If they're wearing expensive clothes, then you can just tell that they're rich.
If somebody would be dressed in a jersey and like basketball shorts, I'd be like, okay, that person's athletic. Right. Somebody's dressed in maybe tight jeans and a tight top. I'm talking about females. I'm like, okay, they like to party.
I have some friends that are gothic. I have friends that are classification of ghetto and emo and punk. I mean, everything I have friends with.
If you're a conservative dresser, then you give off that vibe, I suppose. If you're kind of out there, then you give off that vibe as well.
Like usually if they don't have a lot on, they usually comfortable with themselves. But usually if they try to like with high heels, they want to be taller, or if they're trying to hide up, they think they fat or something. So usually it expresses their confidence.
A person can have some sort of complex that they hide through clothes.
I think you have to read a little bit deeper into it than just clothes.
If you're dressing like you're showing your, belly button and low-cut shirts, you're probably wanting people to look at you. Yeah, you could probably tell a lot from how you look at people, but then again, you could always get the wrong impression.
They always say don't judge a book by its cover. But from the way somebody dresses, I sometimes judge them.
Like they say, first impressions are really important, and clothes are a big part of first impressions. So it can be an integral part of someone's first determination of who you are.
Many of us want to be viewed as attractive and wear the current trends and fashions. Not me, of course, but many other people.
Yeah, right, Jack. You're a slave to fashion just like the rest of us.
Okay, well, maybe a little bit. But seriously, what do our clothes say about us? Do they reflect the person we are inside?
Like it or not, the clothes we wear play a major role in the impressions people have of us.
And sometimes the clothes we wear can send the wrong message.
And get us into trouble, maybe even put us in danger.
Dangerous dressing. That's what we'll be talking about today. Hi everyone, I'm Jack.
And I'm Jess.
And this is Realfaith TV.
Our spotlight guest Carly will tell us what kind of image she tries to project by the way she dresses.
We'll hear from her later in the show.
But first, let's meet our studio guests. They are Sarah, Marie, Vince, Kira, Katie, and Mark.
So what do you guys think? Do you think that the clothes you wear influence the opinions people have about us?
I think so. I think that depending on how you dress and what type of clothes you wear can definitely portray an image about you.
Because it's really cliche, but people from certain cliques wear certain clothes. Like the really athletic guys wear their shorts kind of low, and they're jerseys or whatever. And the preppy guys wear the ripped jeans and the flip flops and the polos and stuff. So you just kind of can tell where someone fits in by what they're wearing, I think.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I hang out with kids who kind of have a certain way of dressing for their clique. We're the scene kids or whatever, and all the guys wear girl pants, and tight band t-shirts and everything. And people see us walking down the street, and there go those scene kids. They're gonna go smoke cigarettes outside of Starbucks or smoke pot in their cars. And I mean, most of my friends are straight edge. They don't do anything like that. So, it does affect the way people look at you.
I know even in schools where they wear uniforms, like my school, they have uniforms, and people will wear their uniforms differently, and that's how opinions are formed. People see how girls wear their skirts and things like that.
Yeah, guys will still they'll sag their pants or untuck their shirts, or girls will unbutton their Oxford shirts but still have their tank top on underneath. So they do bring their normal style into their uniform way of dress.
Yeah, I know you're saying the girls who wear their polos unbuttoned and their skirts all rolled up, people think they're kind of trashy. The girls with the ripped tights are emo or gothic. The guys with the sagging pants are ghetto or stuff like that. It's just so easy to form opinions. Carly went through a phase in which her wardrobe choices were different than they are today.
Next, she talks about this and about how she thinks some of her friends dress provocatively.
Let's check it out.
I don't think I've ever dressed too provocatively. I went through a phase where I didn't dress well, but I was never really provocative. I used to wear low-cut shirts a lot of times, and sometimes a little bit too short skirts. I got in trouble with my parents. Big surprise, I was young. People at school look at me differently, when you dress a different way. Some of my friends do dress provocatively, and they get a lot of attention from guys, and they actually enjoy the attention. They're pretty much objectified by guys, you know. They are looked at as not people, they're looked at as a nice body with skimpy clothes. A lot of the girls from my school, you know, they dress with short skirts that don't cover much. They don't leave much to the imagination. A lot of times short shirts, low-cut shirts, you know, very revealing. A lot of times guys make very degrading comments to the girls that don't dress nice. Some girls thrive off of the attention that they get from guys, but others, it's clear that they're hurt by it and they don't appreciate it at all. You know, when young girls dress dangerously, a lot of times older guys will look at them in a different way and maybe treat them as if they're older. And they, you know, young girls could be lured into doing things that are maybe against their morals just because they're naive and they don't know, you know, how they should be acting, and they don't know how to stand up for themselves. And it just could, you know, snowball into something that's much bigger just from dressing in an inappropriate way. A lot of times it's not even just girls that dress inappropriately. I've seen plenty of guys that wear shirts with inappropriate sayings that I won't repeat because they're gross. But, you know, they say things, and when girls read them, it's supposed to be funny, but it's not. It's just inappropriate. People need to learn to respect themselves more and respect their bodies for what they really are, and, you know, not just reveal everything to the world. Being admired is definitely a positive thing, and being objectified is not positive at all. You know, it's being looked down on almost, and, you know, you're an object, you're not a person anymore when you're objectified.
It can be difficult to resist giving into the latest fashion trends and styles.
But it's important that as Christians, we don't give in to styles and clothing that objectify us and devalue us as human beings.
Who doesn't want to look good and be admired?
So, how about you guys? What do you think the difference is between being admired and being objectified?
I think being admired is more like when people like you for who you are and they get to know you before they make like their assumptions about you, whereas being objectified is where like guys like look at girls or girls look at guys just based on the way they dress and then form their opinions. Like it's more about your body and not who you are as a person.
Like to be admired is someone will value what you do for the community and how you treat others and not just what you look like, because that's being objectified.
I think popularity is a main divider between being admired and being objectified, because when people are admired for who they are, it's different, because some people will say the clothes make the man. Therefore, you don't want people going around liking you just because the way you dress. You would rather people like you for who you are and what you do.
I think there's a total difference between, you know, being complimented once on what you wear and being obsessed with fashion. That obsession is really what objectifies a person. And being admired is more like being a role model and setting examples for other people.
You know, I think it even, you're completely right, but I think it even goes deeper than that. I think being objectified is when people just want to possess you, you know, as like an object to own, to have. And being admired is something completely different. It's like the difference between, from a guy's perspective, the difference between girls and chicks. You know, a girl is someone you want to go to lunch with, have a conversation with, you can identify with them, you think of them as a person. And then a chick is just someone that you're like, man, she looks fine, you know, but you think of them as an object. They're not really a person to you.
But see, that's the problem. People don't look at them as human beings.
I know, that's right. And the Catholic Church teaches us that we should give human dignity to all people, you know, and we can't forget that under those clothes is a human person. We have to treat everyone with dignity and respect.
What influences the way you dress? Do you ever avoid someone because of the clothes they wear?
Do you think that the way someone dresses can actually be dangerous? That's what we ask the teens on the street.
Let's check it out.
You gotta dress one way to, I guess, fit in sometimes.
I wear whatever I feel comfortable with wearing. I wear what I want. It's my style, my clothes, my money. They don't pay for it. I do.
I just wear the clothes that I feel like wearing, and then I really don't care what people think about the clothes that I wear.
I'm different, so I like to wear different clothing, but other than that, I don't need to be wearing anything to express anything.
Have you avoided someone because of their style or manner of clothing?
Not really. It's just if I find the person that has a good personality, I don't really look at what kind of clothes they wear.
If you're comfortable with yourself, I'll be comfortable with you.
I wouldn't, you know, like walk away from someone who says hello to me or something just because of the way they're dressing.
Can what you wear be dangerous?
Yeah, sometimes colors, like if you wear like red, people may think you in a gang, or blue, or some type of band-aid, people may think you gang-related or affiliated. So it's good to watch what you wear.
Sometimes how people dress, you just don't want to be around with people that dress bad and stuff because they're just bad influence, and people think that you're bad being with them.
But I mean, there's some other people that'll be like, those people are horrible, and oh, they're this because they wear this, they're this and that.
One of my friends, like, she dresses, you know, sometimes, I guess, more like open or whatever, and she's a very respectable person, so.
If people look at what you're wearing and they consider that you're something when you're really not, and it could lead to dangerous repercussions.
Dressing in a way that doesn't reflect our true character and values.
Can attract the wrong kind of attention.
Next, Carly tells us how some girls in her school attract the wrong kind of attention from some guys during lunch.
A lot of times girls will dress in a dangerous way in order to get attention, not realizing that the attention that they're going to get is in maybe a sexual way when they're just looking for attention. A lot of times, I know a lot of guys that do this. If a girl's wearing a low-cut shirt, they tend to take, you know, little pieces of garbage, crumbled up pieces of paper, and try and throw it into the girl's shirt. And, you know, it's very inappropriate. It's uncomfortable for, I'm sure, the girl who's receiving it and for everybody sitting around. You're supposed to be a holy temple of God, and you're being treated like a basketball hoop, and the guys are definitely not respecting you. Society teaches you that the popular girl, you know, is with the skimpiest outfit, and, you know, a lot of times it's hard to go against that. You know, if everybody's thinking one way and you're believing your faith, it's hard to go with what your faith teaches you when everybody else is going along with what society says. My youth group is a big part in my life. A lot of my friends are from youth group, and, you know, it teaches me a lot, like, really good morals, and, you know, to not just go along with what society tells you to do. My family taught me to respect myself and to respect my body. Just the way that I was raised, I guess, and the morals that were instilled in me from the time I was little. And I guess the people that I hang out with that are from my youth group, people judge first with their eyes, and do you really want to be seen and stereotyped in a certain way, or would you rather be seen for who you truly are in the inside? You know, the way you dress can definitely affect that.
So do you guys think that quote-unquote dangerous dressing is actually dangerous? Is it just some form of harmless attention getting?
Or do you think this type of thing can lead to trouble?
I think it can lead to trouble because if a girl's trying to get attention from a guy, like, he could push the limit with how much attention he wants to give her, and that could lead to, like, sexual things that she doesn't want to happen, and that's, like, really awful to have happen to you. So I definitely think that dangerous dressing can be really dangerous.
Like, a girl can go out with a bunch of her friends, go to a club or something, and they can get unwanted attention from guys, like touching them and whatnot, and it's not a good thing to have happen.
I think it's really sad when, especially girls, have such low self-confidence that they have to dress provocatively to get attention from guys to make them feel better about themselves.
I think that if you start hanging out with a different group of friends and you start dressing like them to fit in, when you at first start dressing like them, you don't understand the negative feedback that they've gotten from their dressing, so you should watch out sometimes.
And also, when you wear certain clothes, you may run across your boss or some friends you don't see often when you're out, and they might get the wrong impression about who you are and how you dress.
Even like the pictures that people post online, like a lot of them are like provocative and posing in ways that, you know, you wouldn't want your family or friends to see, but you never know who's gonna stumble across your pictures on MySpace or Facebook, so you really have to watch out, like, how you dress and portray yourself.
I think part of the problem is that a lot of people feel pressured because, you know, so many people are dressing that way, you know, and they feel like they have to dress that way to be cool, you know, or to fit in or whatever. So some people, that's what makes them dress that way, really. Because there's no doubt there's a lot of peer pressure when it comes to the clothes you wear.
In Carly's school, there are some girls who compete to see who can wear the least amount of clothes and who can get away with it.
It bothers me with some stores that, you know, they're clothing stores and they're trying to advertise clothes, and yet on all their advertisements, the models don't have clothes on. You know, they're wearing pants with no shirt. What are they advertising if they're trying to advertise clothes? A lot of times when I walk into stores, you know, I see a section with skimpy clothes, you know, short shorts, low-cut tops. I'll stay away from them. I'll go towards the more modest, you know, longer, you know, long pants. Peer pressure does have a lot to do with the way that you dress. I've noticed that, you know, cliques in school all the girls are dressed the same, you know, they'll wear the same outfits on the same days, and you know, I don't think it's a good thing, you know. You're just going along with what everybody else does. You're not forming your own path, you're not being yourself, you're not being an individual. A lot of times girls will dress, you know, dangerously, not you know, to impress guys. It's a lot of times in competition with each other, you know, who can dress the most dangerous, who can wear the least amount of clothes and get away with it.
The fashion industry and their advertisers are making fortunes from what we spend to stay up to date with the latest fashion.
Do you feel that the marketing of suggestive or provocative clothing to younger and younger consumers is exploitive?
Oh yeah, I'd read an article like a couple weeks ago about stores like that cater to like the tweens and like pre-tweens or whatever, but it's like having like string bikinis and mini skirts for like 8-year-olds instead of like overalls. Like it's just like, it's so weird how things have changed so much in such a short amount of time, because I didn't wear mini skirts when I was 8.
My little sister is 8 actually, so she's like big fan of like all those stores, and I always tell her, I'm just like, why are you wearing that? You're 8 years old. And then she like understands, because she's pretty smart, so she like puts her jeans on and her polo shirt, so she like covers herself because she's in 4th grade. So I think it's important that like we make sure that little girls aren't dressing dangerously at age 8.
Yeah. Like I think that the more like dangerously you dress, like the younger you are, then the more like prone you are to, you know, do dangerous things or like be more sexual or, you know, stuff like that. I've noticed like the younger the girls are, like in this day and age, like the more out there and like the more, you know, like I wasn't like that, but I guess it's changing now, and I think dress has something to do with that.
I even noticed that like for boys, like my younger brother, we just went shopping to get him some new jeans, and he's going into 4th grade, and it's like, you know, we're trying to find him a pair of pants, and they're all huge. Like we can't find anything that'll fit on him. They're like making sagging pants for boys that are like going into 4th grade.
I think that young women especially are more pressured by the media because society, you know, is used to the objectifying of women. You know, the fads and the trends can be overwhelming sometimes.
Right. Look at the role models that we have that are famous for young girls. We have Britney Spears, we have Christina Aguilera, and look at the way they dress. Not only are they victims of, you know, provocative dressing, but they're promoting it now too.
What if you had a friend who dressed provocatively or suggestively? Would you tell her or him?
That's what we ask the teens on the street.
Let's check it out.
Would you say something to her if a girlfriend of yours was dressed provocatively?
Yeah, I would. Like if she didn't have too many clothes on, I don't want dudes to look at her. So I tell her to put some more clothes on, of course.
Yes, I probably would.
Now that's going across the line.
No, I think that, I mean, if that's how she wants to dress, man, like go for it. It's not how I'm dressed.
Oh, not too bad. I'd be like, whatever, you know, that's how they want to be. Let them be that way.
If she was dressed provocatively, like one day, I would be like, okay, well maybe she just wants to try something new. But if she keeps dressing like that and it doesn't look good, I might be like, go shopping with her. I don't know, it's a tough situation. I would go shopping with her and be like, oh, maybe this would be better because I noticed you're showing a lot. I don't know. Yeah, I think I would say something.
I would probably let it be. If it was like really over the top, I'd be like, whoa, you know, but if it's not too bad, I'd be like, whatever, you know, that's how they want to be. Let them be that way.
If I knew the person and knew other people will judge people as that, I might be like, might want to pull up your pants or pull up your shirt or something like that.
Yeah, I would say something like, you know, would you really want to wear that? But if she's confident and that's how she wants to present herself, I think that's better than being insecure.
I would tell her she probably needs to cover up.
Have you seen people wear t-shirts that are so suggestive or offensive that they made you cringe?
Yeah, sometimes the words on it, like the meaning or that have on it, like I would think they would want to wear something else. It's not really appropriate to where they're going or where they're at.
I've seen quite a few of those shirts. Especially where I've worked. Not too many at school because I think people have kind of got to the point where you know you're gonna have to get changed. But I've definitely seen shirts that, yeah, like give them a look and like, oh, okay. I mean, I usually won't say anything in person. I'll just walk by. But I mean, sometimes it'll make you look. Usually you'll be like, that's an interesting shirt.
Why do you think people wear suggestive or offensive shirts?
Maybe to be funny or just because they like it. They like what it had on, like they like what the message had on their shirt, but and I don't think it's really a good choice to choose, like, to wear that type of shirt.
Because they feel like it.
I've known people who would wear it just to get to attention. I think it really depends on the person. Some people will be just doing it because they like it. Others are just going to be doing it just to get the joke or something that. But that's also going to be just how they are. They like to be the funny person or the class clown, etc.
So what about you guys? Do you ever talk to your friends about the way they dress, and would you ever tell them if you thought they were dressing provocatively?
I would tell them if they were wearing things that were inappropriate, because I tell them that they're much better than that and they're worth more than that, and there's no sense in degrading yourself or your body just to get attention or to try and be cool.
Yeah, like I had a friend who like purposely bought jeans that were already ripped, which doesn't make sense. And then like they had a big hole like in the back of the thigh, like right up near her bottom. And I was like, well, you know, that's kind of like racy. You should go put something else on. Like that's not really respecting yourself if you want to show yourself off like that.
If we're in a situation and they're dressing, disrespectful for the moment, I would like to warn them at least. People could probably judge you, or you might want to, not wear that. But wear whatever you want. More power to you.
My best friend and I, she's my neighbor, so like before we go to school, we bend over and make sure like your skirt doesn't like go too short, because that's just awful when that happens. So we like check each other to make sure, so we like look out for each other.
Yeah, like I know that I'd want my friends to tell me if I was like dressing in a sleazy way or look like, I wanted something that I don't want. And I tell my friends too, I'm like, maybe you should put something else on. You don't want people to get the wrong impression of you. So gotta watch out for each other, like you said.
Yeah.
I would definitely tell my friends, but you have to be careful of the way you word it, because you don't want them to think that you're judging them too.
And like sometimes like I've gone to church with some friends or to weddings and stuff, and you're like they're wearing like spaghetti straps or like really short like jean skirts. I'm like, maybe you guys should like put something else on, like maybe like a longer skirt, or you can borrow a jacket of mine or something like that, so that it's not too bad, but you're still trying to make the effort.
Dressing modestly is consistent with Catholic teaching. The Catechism speaks to modesty when it states,
Purity requires modesty. It guides how one looks at others and behaves towards them in conformity with the dignity of persons.
Further, the Catechism tells us, modesty inspires a way of life which makes it possible to resist the allurements of fashion and the pressures of prevailing ideologies.
How much do we practice this? Do we rely on our faith to teach us how to dress?
That's what we ask the teens on the street.
Let's check it out.
What does your faith teach you about how to dress?
Carrying myself in a well manner, make sure I'm covered, make sure nobody think what I'm wearing is offensive. Other than that, I really wear whatever I want.
My belief in, having somewhat of confidence but also independence in myself is what guides me in the way I present myself in general, not just through clothing.
Does your faith influence the decisions about your appearance?
No. Not really.
I don't really base my faith and my clothing on the same thing. I believe in one thing and I describe myself as another, so it's fine for me.
It definitely has a part in it. I guess if you're a really religious person, you'd be more conservative, but I don't think it plays that big a part, because just because someone dresses some way doesn't mean that they're not religious.
But I can say that, yeah, I've seen people, whose faiths have determined how they dress, certain religions and things of that sort.
Once in a while, every now and then, yes.
I guess it's partly religion, which is part of my personality, which leads to my dressing. So, kind of, sure.
Like I make sure I don't come off as a bad person or somebody who wants a girl or something. Like I make sure I carry myself in a well manner, make sure I got the correct clothes on.
Faith does play a part in what I choose to wear every day. I don't need to wear provocative clothing to get attention from men, because I get all the attention I need from God. And God respects me, so I should respect myself.
Let's see how Carly's faith has a connection with the way she dresses.
My faith definitely does have a connection with the way that I dress and look. I don't dress in an inappropriate way when I go places, when I go out, when people are going to see me. I make sure that I cover myself up in the areas that need to be covered up. My jewelry, I always wear my cross on my neck. I don't think I've ever gone out without my cross. I have bracelets that say family, what would Jesus do, things like that, religious messages on most of my jewelry. I have shirts that are from retreats from my youth group that I wear all the time. Those are my favorite clothes. I definitely show people with my clothes and the way that I dress that I am a Catholic. I wear a lot of my religious symbols because I want to show people that what I believe. When they see my cross, they know that I'm a Christian and a follower of Christ, and it's a reminder of who I am and what I believe for myself and for everyone else. You know, what I put on my body and the message that I'm portraying to other people. If you dress in a more appropriate way, you get attention for other aspects of your life, you know, like your mind, your personality. It's not all about the way that you look and how you are seen. My faith teaches me that I'm a holy temple of God, and you know, it's not just what you put in your body, how you treat your own body, it's about what you put on the outside of your body, how you dress, how you look, you know, the way you present yourself.
You know, to be perfectly honest, I just don't wear provocative clothes because they're not comfortable, you know, but I'm sure like if I was tempted to wear them, my faith would help out when I'm making the right choice, you know, because I'm sure the church and Jesus wouldn't want us to wear those kind of clothes, you know.
I think ultimately you just have to dress for yourself. You have to take your beliefs and go with them. And if you know that what you're wearing is going to give off the wrong impression, just don't wear it.
As young Catholic Christians who are interested in sharing our faith with others,
We need to be aware of the message we're sending by the way of our appearance.
as Christians, we know that we are called to look at our brothers and sisters with love and understanding.
But that doesn't guarantee that others hold the same core value.
Living in the real world can bring with it harsh judgments, rejection.
And the unwanted advances of someone who perceives a willing target.
And remember that what the church teaches us about dressing modestly calls us to reflect dignity and self-respect as God's creation.
What views and ideas do you have about dressing modestly?
Share them with us through our website.
The address is www.realfaithtv.com.
Or you can call us at 609-406-7402.
And one final thought to remember.
God wants you to enjoy the life He has given you,
He wants you to learn to love yourself in a healthy way.
so that your life will reflect this wonderful gift to others through your actions
By the words you speak.
and with the clothes you wear. Thanks for watching.
We'll see you next time on
Real Faith TV. God bless.